Hello everyone, so the topic that we are going to discuss today is attitude, which falls under the discipline organizational behavior. So let's first discuss what is attitude. Attitude is a psychological construct. First, let's make that clear. It comes from our brain, it comes from our psychology. Okay, so attitude is a psychological construct which represents our predispositions, which represents our feelings, our beliefs towards various objects, various people, events or ideas. What I mean by predisposition is that means the disposition, the feeling, the belief that I have is already decided in my mind. That is attitude. I may have a negative attitude or a positive attitude towards the subject in question. For example, I have a positive attitude towards organizational behavior as a subject. That means I already have a predisposition of feeling a good feeling, a positive feeling towards organizational behavior as a subject. I have a negative attitude towards mathematics. That means I already have a predisposition that I don't like maths. Okay, so that is attitude. Now, how we are making these predisposition, how do we decide in advance whether we are going to have a positive attitude or negative attitude towards something? We will discuss further, we will discuss later in this topic. First, make sure you're clear with the idea that attitude is your predisposition, the feeling, that the belief that you have towards a particular object, towards a particular person or an idea, event or any subject in question. Okay, so that is attitude. Let's move forward towards various components of attitude. There are three components of attitude: cognitive component, affective component and behavioral component. So these three components form our attitude. Okay, so cognitive component comes from information, brain. So brain is at work when we are talking about cognitive component of attitude. Affective comes from heart. That means when we are talking about feeling, that means we are either feeling good or feeling bad about something. So whatever comes from heart is your affective component. Behavioral component, whatever attitude you have formed now shows in your behavior. Okay, so I have a negative attitude towards someone, so it will show in my behavior. I have a positive attitude towards someone, it will show in my behavior. So these are the three components. I'll explain you with an example. Suppose you have a job interview. Now, before going to the job interview, someone told you that the company does not provide a lot of growth prospects. Okay, so you already have this piece of information with you that the company does not have a lot of growth prospect. So now you already have a negative attitude towards because you have a negative piece of information, you have a negative cognitive component towards the subject in question. That means the company that you're going to give interview to. This is the negative piece of information you have got. So you already have, through your cognition, you already have started making a negative attitude towards the organization. Now you visit the organization, you give your interview, you experience and you ask questions. Affective component comes into play. That means how you're feeling about the organization. Are you feeling good or bad about the organization? What are you feeling about the organization? So is it in consistency with the cognitive component? So you went and you feel very good, so you may turn your cognitive component into positive, like there may be, I can work here for there may be less growth prospect, but the environment is so good. people are so cordial. Okay, so I feel good about this organization. Both affective and cognitive component has to be in consistency. Only then you can move on to your third component, that is behavior. It is very rare to have a cognitive component negative and affective component positive, or vice versa. So both of them has to be in consistency. So if you have a negative piece of information, that means cognition. Negative feeling about the company, that means affective. You will not join the company. Okay, so that is behavioral component of the attitude. You have positive cognitive piece of information. You feel good about joining the company. You feel good after giving the interview. You feel good about the company. You will join the company if selected in interview. Okay, cognitive and affective component transfers into your behavioral component. So these are the three main components of attitude: cognitive, affective, and behavioral. Attitude formation, let's quickly do this. Direct experience. For example, I really like iPhones, so that means I must have used iPhones, or I must have also used Androids. I may not have liked Androids, I may have liked iPhones. That's why I have a predisposition, positive attitude towards iPhones. Okay, social learning. So we also get our attitude towards, we get our feelings, beliefs towards a particular subject in question from our social surroundings also. For example, what my mom thinks about a person, what my dad thinks about a particular political party, I may form the same attitude towards a political party on the basis of my dad's attitude. What my brother thinks about a particular technology, so I may form an attitude towards that technology on the basis of my brother's attitude. What my friend thinks about another person, so I may form the similar attitude toward the other person, getting it from my friend. So social surroundings. Next is cognitive appraisal. Cognitive appraisal is you do various analysis on a person, on an object, on an idea, then you form an attitude. That is your cognitive appraisal. Next is cultural factors and socialization factors. Culture also forms our attitude. For example, in a culture we have gender roles, so we already have some attitude towards a work which are performed by a particular gender. Okay, so we also get our attitude from our culture or from our religion. Media and communication. Media plays a very important role. Media and communication plays a very important role in forming your attitude. We have a negative attitude towards a particular political party. Why? Because media is showing negative about that political party. We have a negative attitude towards a person. Why? Because media is showing only the negative aspect of that person. We have a very good attitude about a political party. That means media, we are getting our information, cognitive component from media. Okay, so communication. So for example, a political party is doing extensive advertisement on what all they have done. They are communicating it to us, so we get a positive piece of information. Cognitive component, we are forming a positive attitude. So media and communication also plays a very important role in forming our attitude. And the last one is cognitive consistency, which means we already have some attitude towards a particular person, towards a particular thing, and anything that is associated with that, we form a similar attitude towards that thing. For example, I have a negative attitude towards the subject maths. This is just an example, okay? I really know, but in reality also I don't like maths. So yes, so I have a negative attitude towards maths. So any subject that relates to maths. For example, statistics. I will have a negative attitude towards statistics because numbers. Whatever pre-existing attitudes we have, further attitudes will be formed according to the pre-existing attitudes or pre-existing behaviors. There cannot be possibility that I am behaving negatively towards something but I have a positive attitude. So consistency should be there. It is also not possible that I am having a positive attitude towards something but I am behaving negatively. So there is no consistency. So cognitive consistency has to be there to form attitude. Let's move forward to the theories of attitude.